Chapter 5. Where did you get that picture? I demanded. Panic rose up from my stomach and radiated outwards. Was I in trouble now? Would Colonel Rage come looking for me to lock me up? I couldn't understand how this photograph had gotten around. I didn't recall any of the Secret Service agents taking pictures, but I hadn't been paying attention, and I wasn't sure I'd have noticed what was going on in the background when the President of the United States showed up in my driveway. I told myself to calm down. So what if people saw these pictures? The President met people all the time. No one was going to look at him talking to some middle school kid no one had ever heard of and think, I bet this is about aliens.
This is so huge,
Alice said, clapping her hands together 3 times in excitement, like she was about to open a present.
You're admitting it's you?
I'm not admitting anything, I said. But what is this picture? Where did you get it? She was practically bouncing in her chair now.
Come on, you have to tell me. What do you know about them?
About who?
Not who,
she said.
What? About the UFOs.
The panic was now reaching thermometer-exploding proportions. I guess she had connected the dots, which meant that there had to be dots I didn't know anything about. UFOs? Are you crazy?
Stop playing dumb. I want to know everything.
I tried to piece this all together. Last year, around the time the Confederation sent its representatives to Earth, the instances of UFO sightings had gone through the roof. Maybe because there were real alien ships zipping all over the planet. These sightings had been noted and laughed off by respectable journalists, but they'd become a big deal in certain circles. I'd seen a couple of articles about them on a few of the blogs I looked at, and the fact that these sightings were connected to the president, including him talking to an unknown kid on a driveway in Delaware, didn't make me any less surprised that someone had figured out that I was involved. I don't think that's me, I attempted, kind of pathetically.
You don't think that it's you? Like you wouldn't be sure whether or not you met the president?
She began to flip through more images on her phone, blurry photos of what I instantly recognized as Confederation shuttles. There were also government reports, pictures of dead aliens of the giant-headed and googly-eyed variety. No one in the Confederation looked like that, so I figured that these had to be rubber fakes. I would have written her off as a total nut, but she and whoever had compiled the stuff were as right, at least as much as they were wrong. And alongside obvious nonsense were pictures of a real UFO, and actual evidence of the president's involvement with aliens. It's not me, I told her.
Come on, she said. I just helped you out.
Because you thought I was someone I'm not. I began to get my stuff. She looked at me like her eyes had some kind of power to make me obey.
If you don't talk to me, I'm going to tell everyone in the community that you're here, in this school. I'll post it on all the major discussion boards.
You can't do that, I said before I could stop myself. And she smiled. I sighed. I mean, you can't do that because I don't want to be part of your crazy theories.
Nice try, Zeke. And I promise not to tell anyone if you let me know what really happened. In fact, I'm totally lying. I'm not going to tell anyone either way. I don't want to mess up your life. I just want to know.
I felt myself relax slightly. I hadn't really believed her threat. She didn't strike me as mean or vindictive. Unfortunately, the fact that she wasn't planning on trying to force me to speak weakened my resolve to tell her nothing. I'm a softie that way. Why do you care? I asked, stalling for time in which to remember all the reasons I had to keep my mouth shut.
Because I want to believe that there's more to the universe than just this,
she said, gesturing around the cafeteria. Her hand ended up pointing to a girl who was laughing so hard at something her friend had said that milk was coming out of her nose. Of all the answers she might have given, I don't know that there was another that would have made me as sympathetic. I appreciate that you're not going to rat me out, I said. That works in your favor. I just need to think about this, okay? I looked across the cafeteria and saw Mr. Palmer, the teacher I'd dismissed as oblivious before. Suddenly, he didn't seem so clueless to me. Maybe I was getting paranoid, but I thought there was something menacing about the teacher. He was kind of young and looked like he was in decent shape. Maybe even military shape? He stood up with perfect posture, staring straight ahead like a soldier. His floppy hair and thick glasses might have been a disguise. A couple of kids walked by, blocking my view, so I couldn't be entirely sure if I saw him speak into his wrist or not. "What do you know about that guy?" I asked Alice. She glanced at him, and he turned away.
"Not much. He's new this year."
He was probably just a teacher, but he also might have been an actual government agent who was in the middle of the school for no other purpose than to keep his eye on me. It was a sad fact about my life that these two possibilities were equally likely. "Put that stuff away," I said as authoritatively as I could. I suppose in the past I might have asked her to do it, but I'd become a little more commanding since my adventures off-world. "I'll tell you what I can after school, but you have to keep everything 100% quiet. This isn't a joke. If the wrong people find out, I could get in serious trouble. The sort of trouble that makes you disappear and never come back. This is real, you understand?" She slid her phone into a pocket of her backpack.
"You want to go to your place?"
I shook my head. I needed to know just how much this community knew about me, and the Confederation, and for that we'd need a computer. I didn't want to do any significant internet searching at my place. "No, yours," I told her. "My house is bugged." She broke into a huge grin.
"That is so excellent. But my place is no good. We could go somewhere public, like the library."
I definitely did not want to talk about any of this in public. "Too risky," I said. "If we can't use your place today, we can wait until there's a better time." Her mouth twitched, like she was trying to make a decision. She looked nervous, maybe? Vulnerable. For the first time since our whirlwind conversation began, I started to think that maybe this girl had problems of her own.
"Fine,"
she said.
"My house. Just be cool, okay?"
"I'll try not to burn your house down, but the urges, they're harder and harder to control." She sneered at me.
"Is that your idea of being cool?"
I shrugged. "You can uninvite me, it's up to you."
"No,"
she said, her face set with determination.
"You are going to talk to me."
I had no idea how worried I was supposed to be about the possibility of the government finding out that someone knew about me. It was just one more thing to add to the list of problems. Colonel Rage might decide the world was better off if I was in a prison cell somewhere, or studied in a lab. He might think that my talking to this girl about UFOs made me a national security threat. These things worried me, but other things worried me more. In spite of the lurking government agents who were supposed to keep me safe, spies from another country might try to grab me and find out more about the Confederation. Then, there was the possibility that the Fads would decide to get back at me by adding Earth to their oppressive empire. It was also possible that the Fads might come to Earth not to conquer, but just to nab me and put me on trial. My mom and I had worked out a series of text and call codes so we could warn each other if something bad seemed to be imminent. I tried to convince myself that neither one of us would ever have to use the codes, but most days I glanced at my phone at least a few times to make sure I hadn't missed a warning that would let me know my life, as I knew it, was over. My life was kind of crummy, but I wasn't ready for it to be done.